It doesn't matter who is my provider. I have to be my own provider as well.
Being part of your decision making is really important. It shows that you have agency of your body.
Through researching, I was able to come up with better informed questions to ask my doctor.
Always ask questions, and that's my main thing. And that helped me, be here today.
One of the most encouraging things my provider told me when I found out I was pregnant was to breathe, calm down, it's going to be okay.
It does essentially take a village, and there are amazing people out there that are more than eager to help you out.
In this episode, our subjects discuss the importance of building a strong relationship with their healthcare provider, from getting lab tests, to changing medicines, to feeling well, and even having a healthy HIV-negative child. They convey why being proactive and maintaining open communication with their provider can make all the difference. First, you'll hear from Giuliani, whose experience underscores why it's imperative for those with HIV to be treated by someone who truly understands them and is fully engaged in their care.
Finding a doctor for me, who could treat me for HIV was not as difficult, fortunately. I was part of a case study. The study is to link people to doctors. And so I was already speaking to someone, an amazing doctor who does research around HIV as well. And the case study is about 24 weeks. And so by then I had ample time to find a doctor that I wanted to work with. So I wanted to, be in good hands, especially someone that I could talk to about future medicines that are going to be coming out soon.
It's also important to have a provider who encourages your proactivity and empowers you.
My doctor's amazing because he's very receptive to my questions, my needs. If I need something from him, he's only an email away and he messages me within minutes, literally. He is great. He has astonished me, and that to me was really, really important because being HIV positive, I want to make sure that I am in good care and that people are concerned about my health, because this is the first time that I have to deal with something that I know is going to make it so that I am checking myself regularly, and I want to make sure that the doctor is also consistent. So I do get my 3-month screenings, and luckily my doctor just has everything ready for me, just so where I just go to the lab and I just want to take my tests. No questions, no nothing. So that's going back to finding a doctor that's right for you. You have to make sure that you have a doctor who is very aware of your lived experiences, who's always going to support you, and especially ready for you to sort of take control of the wheel. If you want to get tested every 3 months, go ahead and get tested every 3 months. If you think that you had a little accident where you thought you were exposed to an STI and you want to go in tomorrow, you want to have the kind of doctor that has everything ready and ready to go for you.
While communicating with your provider is an essential part of the process, you first need to learn how to communicate. For Noah, his HIV diagnosis served as an impetus for him to gain a full understanding of his new status, so he could get the most out of his care.
When I first got my diagnosis in the hospital, and even for weeks and months after that, people talked to me a lot about viral load, about CD4 counts, as if I knew what all of those terms meant, but also as if I understood the implication of the number that would then follow. Oh, your CD4s are 62. Before then, I had no idea what I had heard it in the parlance of talking about HIV, but it was not something I knew a lot about. And at my age, it's rare that I don't have a little bit of experience about something that can make me feel like I'm standing on solid ground. Maybe I can fake my way through it. This was something I couldn't fake my way through, and it took a little time for me to be comfortable saying I don't know something and to ask for help, because at my age that's not something I do very often anymore. Maybe I never did. So it meant asking people to explain the terms they were using with me. When I was in the hospital and doctors would come in and talk to me about various aspects of my diagnosis, I would try and remember the words they had used until the day was over. And then at night in my hospital bed, I would look up things on my phone to find out what were all of these things they're talking to me about. And so it was important to start educating myself about what these terms meant, so that I had a sense that I owned this and that I wasn't sort of waiting for someone to fix it. I was participating in my own recovery.
Erica also found that learning as much as she could about HIV was critical.
After my diagnosis, I just researched a lot of information on my own. I think that was a way that I was able to cope with my new status. Through researching, I was able to come up with better informed questions to ask my doctor and was able to have more of a conversation versus my doctor just telling me what they think. All of the information I gathered was either through doing research on my own, through different internet sources or different booklets, but also talking with my doctor, talking with experts. I had a HIV specialist, so I talked with my HIV specialist. What was more important for me was understanding what HIV meant for me in the long term, what my life would look like, versus how do I get through these first few months.
Grandfather Hector Extravaganza was diagnosed with HIV in the 80s. His knowledge and perseverance set an example for countless others being treated for HIV.
When I have my doctor's appointment, I'm going to see my provider. I have a sticky pad on my always next to my bed, and I also have my daily planner. So, right on the date that I have to see him, and when things come up, I immediately, start writing things down. Or if I hear about a new med, so those are the questions that before he tells me anything, these are the questions that I need for you to listen to. And I need answers on that. Then you can tell me about my blood work, and you can tell me, all of that. But, I always that's how I prepare always, because you're always getting new information. There's always something new out, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And the other way you're going to know that is by asking questions.
Here's more from Giuliani.
Being part of your decision-making is really important. It shows that you have agency of your body, and that also gives you a perspective where, you know what, this is not going to be the end of me. I have full control of my body and the decisions that I make, because essentially it's your health. You're the one that understands how you're feeling mentally maybe at the moment. There's different ways for us to be in tune with ourselves, and you want to make sure that you have a doctor that's going to respond to you and definitely be there for you and assist you, possibly recommend things for you. You want to make sure that your doctor is very aware of what it means to be HIV positive. At least, maybe they have background research and they can suggest, resources, medicine, or even other doctors who are doing current research. All that is important. And you just have to definitely build that as part of as a community, because it does essentially take a village, and there are amazing people out there that are more than eager to help you out.
Here's Hector again on how crucial it is to take an active role in your treatment.
It doesn't matter who is my provider. I have to be my own provider as well. So it works both ways, but at the end of the day, I have to say, because I'm the one that's carrying it. But I ask questions, and I get information daily, so I run home, and if I remember, I always jot it down. So with my provider now, he already knows that as soon as I sit down for my appointment, his first question is okay, give me your questions, because he knows I do everything. I take care of myself, because I live with myself every day. But to be partners with your provider is number one, because, they're the ones that, you're doing the blood work with them. So if you feel a certain illness or your bone is hurting you a certain way or whatever it is, it could be the meds, it may not be the meds, but it's good for you to ask questions, and don't be shy to ask questions, and that's my main thing. And that helped me, be here today, even to have this conversation.
I was born with HIV.
Learning you are pregnant can be emotional for anyone. For Kimberly, it was very different given her HIV status. Talking openly with her provider and to others with HIV who had healthy babies gave her much-needed confidence.
One of the most encouraging things my provider told me when I found out I was pregnant was to breathe, calm down, it's going to be okay. And I already knew a lot of the information on how to become pregnant, how to not transmit the virus to my partner and to my son. I'm telling him basically what I already know, and what he's just repeating it after me just to calm me down. The good thing is that he told me to talk to other people, and he gave me a list of people that I can talk to. Also, some of my friends were HIV positive and had babies, so talk to them about the experience and what did they go through, so that way I have an actual reference to what's going to happen to me. Even though everybody's different, at least I get a better idea instead of just reading in a book or going online. So that actually really helped me out and calmed me down a lot when it came to being pregnant.
Recent statistics show that if a woman who is HIV positive takes medication during her pregnancy, and her baby receives medication for 6 weeks after birth, the risk of transmitting HIV can be less than 2%.
One thing I would say to somebody who is HIV positive and wants to have a baby would be, it's okay. You don't have to worry about your child becoming HIV positive or even your partner. For me, it was different when it came to how I got pregnant, because it was 8 years ago, but now they have PrEP, and you don't have to worry about that. You can give that to your partner. Well, not you, but that you and your partner can go to the doctor. Your child goes on medication, and it's possible to have a healthy life and still live on and see your child, which is something that a lot of us were scared of, is what's going to happen to myself? What's going to happen to my child? What about my partner? And I have a healthy 7-year-old son, and I don't have to worry about me giving him HIV, because I know I did what I had to do to protect my child, and he's the best thing that I could ever ask for right now. Thinking about having another child is something that is in my future. I just want to make sure that I stay healthy and I follow the same path that I'm doing now and make smart decisions. So yeah, I would encourage anybody that if I can do it, you can do it too.
And here's a final thought from Hector Extravaganza.
Being positive for 35 years it's a long run, but you have to find your glitch of what's going to help you, live longer. But a lot has to do with you and, saying what information or what question you have for your provider. And, you'd be surprised, how well that works.